There we go, everybody. Hey, everybody. John Gums, Dakota Grappler, going live for the first time here in 2023-24 wrestling season. Just happy to be here. As you can look across the screen, everybody's got their names up there. We got Bill Holton coming out of Carrington. We got Tony Fugelberg, who I spelled his name wrong first on the media stuff today, the E before the L, but it's on there right now. And he's handling the girls Fargo team. And then we have, of course, Minot State University's girls women's wrestling coach, Brittney Mitchem. And so very happy for these guys to be here tonight. I don't know. Let's start off. I want to talk with Brittney first. She's brand new. And I just want you to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started into wrestling.
Well, I wrestled since I was 6 years old. My uncles did it, and I wanted to give it a whirl. It was the sport that could keep me busy. It was high energy and something that could keep me out of trouble. So as I developed, I just got hooked and I kept going. When I explored my options in college, which is crazy to think about, there was probably only 4 options, maybe not even. And so I landed at the University of the Cumberlands. I actually was recruited by Missouri Valley and Cumberlands, but at the time I was looking into both options, wrestling and soccer, and Cumberlands offered me for both, so I went there. I was a 2-timer in both sports. Graduated with a bachelor's in exercise science and public health. And then I continued on as a grad assistant for both. And yeah, so it just
like to stay busy. I don't know.
Yeah. And got my master's in education. And then my very first job was actually coaching soccer at a school, Minnesota Morris, back in the day. And actually, I want to argue that was one of the very first programs that ever started women's wrestling back in the day.
Very true. I remember it very well when I was coaching at Valley City State in the 90s. We went and watched them wrestle all the time. In fact, they had as much crowd around their mats for the freestyle stuff as we did for all the stuff with NAI wrestling there. Yep. Everybody
thinks it's Missouri Valley, but no, it was Minnesota Morris. So it was actually really cool to work there. And then at that time of my life, my husband now reached out and said that they were hiring at his school for a coaching position, a head coaching position, because I was just an assistant at the time. But the stipulation with that was I had to start a women's wrestling program. And so I was like, okay, it's a job. And I had left for like a sports internship in Zambia, Africa. And I was like, well, if they're going to give me a job being 6 months out of the country and I come back and I have a job, then yeah, I'll say yes. And so he actually recruited my first team for me while I was out of the country. And I get back and yes, I know the sport. Yes, I was an All-American, but never really taught a session in my life. But it was interesting to see. I kind of phased myself out of coaching soccer just because I love the cultural background that wrestling brought, as far as like, I was one of them, first gen to get a degree, a little rougher background, but, just seeing these kids, what culture they came from, I kind of related to them a little bit more than, a soccer team. And so I really enjoyed that part. And so I kind of phased out of that and just strictly plugged myself into wrestling. And of course, Tim, my husband now, helped me a lot. So yeah, I mean, then I was there I built that program. I was there for 2.5 years. and I got my first opportunity to coach an NCAA Division II team and start another program at Tiffin. And again, I was still very young, and I kind of knew what that ground looked like, what I had to do. And so it wasn't too unfamiliar for me, but it opened up the door, obviously, for us to be here today. And it was the first program in Ohio to ever start. And of course, Minot was the first program to start in North Dakota, Division II. And I think we're the only still so far. I mean, Jamestown's pretty historical, but first NCAA level, here we are. And so I really had the experience to start this program. And, I was fortunate enough to get my first head coaching job at 23. So you learn all the young coach mistakes early and get them out of the way. But yeah.
Okay. No, so what are the biggest challenges now at this program that you see? As you're
Specifically at Minot?
Right.
Well, I feel like there's a good handful of North Dakota kids, and I had a few last year on my team. I definitely want to build in-house and kind of build those barriers and then, build upon that. But as you were saying earlier, the numbers, like if you were to do the math, right, statistically, we're looking at however many girls across the country that wrestle, right? You take half of that move on, then you take another portion of that, divide that up to however many programs there are now, over 114 maybe. And then 1/4 of those kids move on to wrestle in college even. So you're fighting over the same handful of kids. So it's a dogfight, and you have to really, stand out and sell the program. And I think it says a lot about the school if we can move from Georgia up here and see the opportunity and potential that this place has and just the community of people, then it says a lot to other people. Like I am pulling Indiana kids, I'm pulling California kids, and I think the success of getting them here first and having them see and experience the campus, I pretty much commit them. But I think they have a preconceived idea, just like we did when we moved here. Like, what the heck? Where are we going? North Dakota? What's out here? And it totally changes your mindset when you get here. So, I mean, we like it. We really, really like it here. Just we're cheap too for tuition, and so you're realistic with it. Recruiting wise, it all checks the box. It makes sense, right? It's not a boring town. We had to recruit, expected to recruit a team of 25, 30 kids with a town of one stoplight and a gas station called T-Birds. Like Minot has a lot to offer.
Definitely. So what are some of the top qualities of aspects of girls that you're looking for? Good team leaders. What are some of the big things to look for in your wrestlers?
Well, I will say if I can get, 10 or 11 like Emily Light that just are hard-headed and just grind and keep working hard and showing up every single day. And, we tell her to do something, she does it. I'll take that and work with that any day. Like, just give me a little bit of time with her and her technique will clean up. And, not that everybody's technique's perfect, even the best in the room, we can clean it up. Like, you never steer away from the basics anyways. And so give me a little time with her and, she'll be rocking and rolling in no time. But I'd rather take, good, honest, hardworking kids that truly want to be there versus, attitudes in the room or, think that they're too good and they're lazy. They don't put in the work at practice. And, we can work with the Emily Light type athlete.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can believe that. What, how many girls are you getting to come in that have limited freestyle experience?
I mean, compared to, so when we competed at Life, right? Those programs have been around since I've wrestled in college. And I mean, we got it handed to us, but it's okay. We needed it. They're pretty established programs. And just seeing the difference between, the East versus the West and how a little bit behind times we are. Um, but we're young, we're new. So we have a lot of catching up to do. But as far as like, I have the hardest working team, no doubt. But, wrestling against those teams, they're just pretty established. They've been around for years. So, that's our standard to work towards. So I don't know if I got around to your question or not.
Yeah,
Basically,
no,
freestyle. It's kind of one of the big things.
I
Boys
just
want.
know. Yeah, I just know we get a lot of girls. We're wrestling folk style in high school, as silly as that may
Yeah.
seem.
And actually, did you guys see New York
I
pass?
did.
Wrestling.
Yeah, we all applauded it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. I mean, it's good that they're going to be the first to start that. I mean, they do. But if you think about it, if you have a good, folk style foundation and you're good in attacking mindset and neutral anyways, you're 80% on your feet. There's not really a huge transition other than, there's some tendencies I did see in the room at the start, like they're wanting to stand up right away or they're wanting to like start moving, but really you don't want to give an opening up on parterre. But other than that, I feel like if you have a good foundation of wrestling anyways, you'll be okay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting standing. So, of course, the NAIA Nationals has been in Jamestown for a number of years, and I remember standing there watching with Terry Steiner, and you can just see even at that level, right, at the national tournament, it was still, you could just tell there was a lot of girls that were still very folk style focused. A lot of just tendencies and stuff we see in a folk style match, and I do know that the girls that I've been around that have wrestled freestyle all love freestyle, right? I mean, they think it's great and they want to do more of it, and they they all say they're happy that that's what it gets done in college. So it's a great thing, but I just always am curious how many are coming in without very much freestyle experience.
Yeah, I get quite a few that don't have experience, but it's nothing that intimidates us.
No.
We can convert them.
Okay, I did have a question somebody threw in right away, and it's kind of what we kind of talked about, but maybe some for you, Brittney. What are the top 3 qualities you are looking for in an athlete?
Grades. You gotta you gotta care about your grades because that will say a lot of who you are. And, obviously you're going to care about what you're doing on the mat if you care about your grades. And if your grades aren't good, you can't wrestle. So I look at that. I look at their responses. Let's say when they give up to, how do they react? How resilient are they? How much fight do they have in them? Because that's important. Those blood round kids, I don't overlook those kids. Sometimes those are the kids I want because they get the fight. They get what that's like. They get the grind. So grades, how they interact with others, how they interact with their families, what respect levels do they have, their character. Because like I said, I'm not intimidated to develop a wrestler. We can work with that. We can't really, change them too much attitude wise, nor do I want to do that. You could go wrestle for another school. Dickinson.
Dick.
Just kidding.
Chicken hogs.
Oh yeah. I tell you what, it's a battle. I tell you what, you've got an uphill battle, but I tell you what, I think what's interesting about what I've seen about the women's sport, it's growing so much that I think it could just be a rolling ball where it just starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and you being a start of it is a great thing.
Yeah.
Yep. And guess what? Once you find to get the good athletes in there, it draws in more good athletes,
Yep.
the ones that are committed and it definitely is a springboard for the next best thing to happen.
But the only thing is, like, up to the point, well, I mean, we offer scholarships, but obviously I don't have anybody graduating anytime soon. So,
Makes it hard.
It is hard, but at the same time, the people that'll make it will make it. The people that weed out will weed out. And it's a business. Like, you don't show up and do what you're expected to do, you'll get out recruited. There's somebody out there that wants it. So, I mean, I don't know.
No, it's blunt, honest. You have to be honest with the kids that way. Exactly. It is a business. Tony, quick question for you. Do you throw in a freestyle day now and then just for fun for the girls?
I actually throw a Greco day in every once in a while.
Ooh, okay.
Just because it gives the opportunity to kind of work some of the upper body stuff, some of the throws. And really, my turns are pretty much the same. I mean, I'm a gut wrench first guy, and that's even come spring and summer, that's the first thing I'm showing. I'm showing a gut wrench before I'm showing a lace. But they don't – it's also new to them. I mean, and just like any middle school wrestler, what do they all want to do? They want to throw a head and arm. Right? I mean, everyone wants the big throw, so all right, I'm going to teach some big throws. And I was always a Greco guy over a freestyle guy anyway, so I'll throw a little Greco and freestyle in every once in a while.
Every big guy likes to pummel.
Right? It's a lost art.
Yeah. Yep.
There's a loaded question up here.
Oh, yeah. There's the loaded question for you, Tony. Here it comes.
Throw by.
Throw by.
Catch the single on the way by.
He knew better.
He knows I don't shoot the legs.
Yeah. I was going to say a headlock and the guy slips, so you roll, you turn back toward the legs.
Maybe catch a single out of a Russian.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I thought it was the leg tap, that the heavyweights do, just reaching.
Yeah, a little tap too works.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No, I love that the season's starting. Tell us a little bit about how your girls have been doing now. You guys went down to the Life tournament and you got a little bit of mat time in. Tell us how you guys have been doing so far, Brittney.
We're doing good. I mean, we're addressing the things that we need to work on slowly. I pick literally one or two things and focus on that a week. That way, and then we put it into situations. That way it can, become muscle memory. I mean, they're picking it up pretty quick on what we're teaching. And, everybody calls certain moves different names. So even coming on the same page, with the same terminology that, hey, you're going to hear us yell this from the corner. Make sure you know what we're meaning. But other than that, it helps to have upperclassmen this year, because then I go ask Nina, go ask, the upperclassman that's been there, done that. And, they have somebody to look forward to. And last year it was kind of like everybody figuring it out. But we went through the trenches together, so it made us stronger. It was that first class I'll have a stronger bond with than anything, because
so why don't you name some of your team leaders, some of the young ladies that are doing well right now in your team, some of your team leaders?
So our team captain is Nina Sandoval. She was one of our national qualifiers last year. And then we also have another returner national qualifier, Jasmine Gorder. And then, out of the freshmen, I have everybody that's stepping up and just wrestling hard and showing up every single day. And they, they're coachable. They listen. Like I don't know. This group is, I literally tell them one thing and then they don't do it the next match, or like they'll fix it before the next match. And I don't know if that's rare. It probably is, but, but there's some kids, I'm like, she's not about to do that. She's not about to do that. Yep, she did that. Okay. But, I have good kids, but it also comes down to like building relationships with them first, and as much time as you spend off the mat, on the mat, and really building that up. Because then, there's mutual respect there.
Mm-hmm. So what did you do this fall for team building?
We did pumpkin carving. They did a movie night. They just try to get together once a month and do some sort of activity. And then when we were in Atlanta, we went to the Georgia Aquarium. And so that was fun, just bonding over different life experiences and seeing a different side of the country. And, so, I mean,
do you think that's bigger for, I don't know if you've been around both sports, is that team building early on for ladies very important compared to boys? Any idea?
Yeah. Even recruiting, it's like, Sam will be like, hey, want to wrestle in college? Like, yeah, send me the information. Girls, it's like, what's your favorite color? Okay. Like, cool. Do you want to wrestle? It's like, it's totally different. You definitely have to build their trust and a relationship, because it's very relational, and wrestling is one of the most relational sports that, because it is very, like, it can be intimate,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it's just crazy to see the differences. But
yeah, some of my lifelong friends, it's all about wrestling. You betcha. It's that intimate. Definitely. How about you, Tony? What do you experience with your girls? Because I tell you what, I have not had the privilege to coach any girls. So tell me, Tony.
I will say the girls' environment is a much funner environment. It's a lot lighter. They put music on the speaker at the beginning of practice, and about 15 minutes into practice, it's nothing but Disney songs. It's definitely lighter. I've been doing it a few years now, and I don't know that I could go back to the boys. I started at Nationals 4 or 5 years ago, and it's been awesome.
Yeah, it's different because I tell you what, last year at the state tournament, I had tears in my eyes. The last couple of years watching the girls when they're done, guys go off mad, girls go up and hug each other and appreciate it a little bit different. And I watched the coaches the same way. The emotion in the corner was like, I don't know what it is. It's more heartfelt. It's more from the soul. It's so much deeper. And there's a listening to it. It's if you teach the girls the right way, because the boys somehow along the way got bypassed there. Then guess what? We have to be friends sometimes too. Girls have already learned that. Guys say, guess what? We're enemies. Maybe we can be friends later. I don't know. It's just, I actually many a times listening to coaches and watching it, I had tears in my eyes too, going, oh my, that is awesome. I love being a fly in the wall at wrestling tournaments, and I enjoyed watching the girls, not even the best wrestling ones, just the reactions and listening to the coaches and how they responded afterwards. It was pretty cool. Tell us, Tony. Yeah. I saw you hugging and crying too, Tony.
I would never cry.
Tony is not emotionally invested in the sport. I don't know how long you've known him, but he's very detached. He barely even know if he's paying attention.
You can barely even hear me when I'm coaching, Bill.
Almost never, except for within 200 miles.
Yeah.
I feel like we just, as coaches, we get desensitized over time. And even wrestlers, we get desensitized. And, I try to tell my team, because I struggle with that. I try to tell them, like, hey, don't take me the wrong way, right? I have no emotion. But,
I am extremely emotional.
Coached by dudes growing up anyways, but I actually hear a lot from my team, like, yeah, you're the first female coach that I really like. And I don't know if it's because I have been coached by males and I'm more like stupid, simple kind of person, or like, so I really don't know how to deal with the things that girls deal with, but maybe they need the balance of mellow and chill versus the other side. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely get emotionally invested. Because I watch these girls day in, day out buying in to what we're selling, and every single girl I've had it's like Emily gives me everything they have on a regular basis. I mean, it's tough not to get invested in that, and the drive and the want to see them be successful.
Well, so true. And that's why Bill travels to those Sundays and stuff too.
Yeah, we went just about every week. We just picked. There's a couple coaches we didn't want to see, and so we skipped those. And
I see.
No, we did, and well, I mean, for me, it was an awesome trip, right? I got 2 hours in the vehicle with, a 16-year-old wrestler, and we got a chance to talk, and we happen to be related, so it helps a little bit. But 2 hours there and 2 hours back, and getting to just sit back and be a fly on the wall and watch coaches like Brittney, kind of connect with those girls, and the girls were all there on a Sunday afternoon in the fall and the beautiful weather, and we had, I don't know, 40 to 50 girls, it seemed like, every week. So the girls love the sport, and it's fun to watch them. It's fun to watch them grow. I guess I watched a lot of it last year, and I saw some this summer, and I expect to see a lot more this year. So it's fun. I'm glad that we're here, right? I mean, that's the best thing. And it'll be interesting to see the growth statewide again this year. And I don't mean growth in numbers, just growth in competition. It's just getting better all the time.
Definitely. So Tony, tell us. You can go, Bill.
I see you guys have an event this weekend. Do you have on Friday, right? In Minot?
Tell us what's going on. Our Beaver Bash duels. Trying to make it an annual thing, and I also put an open on our schedule. We have more for our Beaver Bash duels than our open right now, but I'm trying to be consistent with, putting those events on our schedule to bring more attention to North Dakota. Like, we need people to travel here. And there's also a need for freestyle refs in North Dakota and South Dakota. And so I'm trying to, be consistent in that, no matter how many people show up, still, have those events, and kind of build that audience for, years to come. And so we have Saskatchewan, a community college, us, Dickinson, and Jamestown coming. So we'll run it on 2 mats. It's basically noon to 6. So we basically have 10 rounds of wrestling. It's going to be a good day. It's going to give us an idea, where we're at in this area. And maybe a little bit of confidence booster for some of our girls, because, we were just wrestling top 15 teams, and those are the teams we'll see at nationals. So, they needed that, but at the same time, being a little bit more competitive this weekend for that.
Good.
Yeah. Got to build them.
And then you've got, is the next event you have going to be the duel at Jamestown, or is there something in between there?
Yeah, the 27th is our duel at Jamestown.
Who's the sadomasochist that scheduled the duel for the Monday after Thanksgiving? Tony doesn't know what that means because he's never had to make weight. But
is that the 27th?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple doozies on there. People are like, "What is she doing?" But we just need the contests.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And you got to get them on the dates you can get them. I'm actually glad it's a Monday because it's a pretty free night for us, so we'll be there.
I just throw myself in there. Yep, we'll come. Yes, we're in.
I might have to get a bus.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great opportunity to go watch the two programs, 2 of the 3, but the 2 top programs in the state, duel on that Monday night. So we're excited about the duel. But
Yeah.
when I realized it was that Tuesday, that it was the Monday after Thanksgiving, I thought, I can't believe all the whining I've heard from wrestlers about having to duel the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, that on Monday, they really got to be letting you have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's all right.
Well, big question came across here. So let's see here. It's one for Brittney again. Take up most of the screen. It's a question for Brittney. I noticed in your first year with the girls that there were some different spots that require modified technique for the girls versus boys. Example would be, I felt like our girls had more success when they ran their halves more like an arm bar by circling around the head rather than dropping chest to chest because of shoulder flexibility. Have you noticed other spots where the technique is just different than it would be for guys? It's a long question.
Yeah, the girls' shoulders are insanely flexible. But we just worked on arm bars and power halves the other day. And I mean, you definitely can sit through on your arm bar and make it a little bit tighter. But at the same time, if you're running it right, you know, I feel like you could still get a turn out of it arm bar wise. Power halves are a little bit more trickier because you're going to find people that swim out of them. But again, if you're going for a power half and they're swimming out, you're just baiting for another turn the other way. So, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, power halves are tough even at this level. They are pretty flexible. But
I found with our halves where we were running into issues, girls were circling up to knees, and we saw their half, and so we're more better option to kind of throw that across the body and stretch.
Yeah,
that back
but we
out.
forget. Yes, so when we do run the powerhouse, we forget about the reloads, like reloading it, making it tighter. You know, really dragging them across the mat, wiping it up with their face.
Jared, I'll show you.
Perfect. Yeah.
Jared, you going to show him that one?
Yeah. No, I mean, Brittney, you talk like a guy. It's even funnier. You know, it's no, it's awesome. No, I tell you what, I've been so excited to see you guys wrestle. You remember what time that duel starts on that Monday after Thanksgiving?
I think it's at 7. I'll look here. I had it here
I
somewhere.
think 6 p.m.
Okay. That gives
6 p.m. Correct.
most people to travel anywhere to get there. That's a pretty good time. I'll probably show up for that too. That'd be awesome. No,
dual squad. Will you have a full? Do you have a full dual lineup?
See,
that's a loaded question.
See, I did, and I definitely. You just never recruit per weight class because it's always going to change. It doesn't matter, and so the girl I signed at 101 can't safely make 101, which I hope they get rid of that weight class because even some of the best 101s out there that I was recruiting, they just look so sick. Like, anyway, that's a whole other debate. They could throw 101 out and add a 220. That would be great.
Yep.
Top side, definitely.
Yeah. And then I did it. So I'm full other than 101, 136, and 191. My 2 heavies are ineligible. My 36 got injured. And then my 101 couldn't make it safely according to her weight descent plan. So I was very close.
Yeah.
That's part of growing.
Yeah.
Okay. Tony, tell us about your team, your room numbers.
We're up a little bit from last year, consistently 24, 25 in there every day.
Nice.
Yes, huge. We ended the season after you took the seniors out at like 19 or something right in that neighborhood. Looking at some weights and stuff today, I think I fill 13 on Tuesday, so we're spread out pretty good. I'm extremely young.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you a dozen of them are middle schoolers, which, I mean, as far as the sport, we're all pretty young, but I mean, as far as age, it's not a bad problem to have. So I'm excited. I got a solid group of returners coming back, and I'm ready to go. They're all working hard and getting after it.
Tell us who your
Enjoying
team
themselves.
captain.
Huh?
Give some plugs for your team captains and some of your returning state placers and stuff.
Let's see, what do we got? We got Taylor Laidlock is back. She is a junior this year, returning state placer. She got hurt last year, didn't place last year. Placed the year before. Lucy Zarnowski, a returning placer at 125 last year. Ava Owens, Isabel Julian, both blood round kids from last year. Solid group of points coming back. Solid group of leaders coming.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Who else? Colleen Gavergo should have a really good run at the finals. Yeah, excited. My only spot I'm really missing is heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I've got light heavies, but I don't have that true 250 pounder like I did last year.
Okay. Yeah. So when you start getting your girls, now how are you recruiting? Are you in the school? Which
I hit each school at least once through the fall. The recruiting part gets a little bit tough with football going on too.
Okay.
So and without being in one of the buildings full time, it's tough. But I've got enough girls in each of the schools. I'm spread out fairly even as far as North, South, Davies, and that. So I've really relied on the returners to kind of get with their friends, word of mouth. I've got one girl from South who's a swimmer, and she's got two of her other teammates from swimming out this year. Yeah, been doing kind of each week I pick a different school and get in there and do a meeting and start my sign-up sheets as soon as school starts and get it in the announcements as soon as school starts. And
how about your bonding? What do you do for team bonding?
They are actually, so when I was out in Mandan for the camp, a couple of my girls came with, and I spent 3 hours each way listening to them plan Spirit Week.
Okay.
Which started this week for the first week. Today was on Wednesdays we wear pink. Kind of a Mean Girls reference. Yesterday they did a generational day, and based on what grade you were in, you kind of like the 7th graders were kind of dressed up at practice as like little toddlers, and the seniors were old folks, and I was supposed to be like really old.
As well you are.
Yeah.
Right. She said you didn't dress. They said you didn't dress up. I said the gray in the hair and the beard isn't enough.
Did you get some assistance this year? Some more people help?
I've got my assistant coming back. She's learning a little bit more. She's still not super experienced, but the kids gravitated to her really well, and she fits right in the group. Just kind of teaching her some of the technique as I'm teaching the kids, and I'm simple, and it's all new enough to all these kids where for me it's like doing a middle school program, because for the most part that's where the technique levels are at. I mean, I'm starting from scratch, starting with basic stance to basic movement and stance, and keeping it nice and easy for them.
I'm not afraid to tape a tape of line on the wall and they have to stay below that in their stance. I'm not afraid to do things like that.
Nope. No, you keep good position, good basic shots, and get really good at them and be physical.
Do you have your girls do a lot of like goal setting?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, a couple of them turned theirs in today. I'm having them write them down. I'm keeping them so we can revisit later on in the year and kind of see where we're at as far as attaining them, and if any of them can be adjusted, and getting some good stuff.
That's good. I'm not sure who would, because I've seen a lot of boys with their goals and they're pretty simplistic. So I'm thinking you could get paragraphs maybe.
Some of the conversations with them get a little long-winded. They've got, but they're good goals and they're well thought out goals.
You ever think of, there's different, I do a lot of reading on motivation and goals. I write a lot of stuff about it, but do you ever go through a system where you have, let's say, process goals, like things you have to do to get to the next level, to get to attainment goals, and then to having, there's different ways that you can measure your goals so that you're not just stuck down the bottom and have some big grandiose goal that you steps to get there instead.
Yep.
Yeah. How about the college level? What do you guys do there?
So kind of same thing, but sometimes I'll have them pick one in each category: life, education, and wrestling. And then, when they enter my program, I give them a binder of, my type A self. They have their own binder with their calendar in it, our practice schedule, some of the practices and the notes that we'll be going over. So I type out every practice and every, step-by-step technique that they'll learn. So they have the terminology. And then I provide practice notes in there. So they can date it, write down what we did, one takeaway note, one thing that they can adjust, and then one thing that they can actively be thinking about into the next practice. So it's very simple. Even if we look at ourselves, we can say, I have this to work on. And, that can be overwhelming. But if they take one thing, apply that, you're starting to climb the mountain then. And then you're starting to, build your wrestling caliber slowly, and it's not as overwhelming. But it's people that are willing to make the climb. Everybody wants to be a national champ, but are you willing to climb the mountain and take it in strides? Because it is a process. It's not going to happen overnight. And I'm sure if I go hand fight Tim right now, there's something that I could adjust.
Yep.
Which I hate. Every hug is a headlock in my household. Even my son starts leg attacking me now. I can't.
When the headlock comes, you got to throw it over the top.
Yeah.
Duck it and come around behind.
That's funny because I had a boy that just graduated high school. He's a freshman in college, and he comes home and the first thing he does, not give his mom a hug, he gives his mom a headlock. Yes, basically, he starts doing an arm drag or Russian tie, and she'll like try to tickle him instead. Or
have you ever seen the video of Spencer Lee's mom putting him on the ground?
Yep. Oh yeah, that was pretty good.
I'm gonna be that mom.
That's a good thing.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. So, Bill, let's talk a little bit about what's happening in Carrington right now. I haven't heard much there. You said your numbers before we started. What's happening with the girls program?
Yeah, well, Coach Pazernik's got, I think, about 15 or 17 girls in the room. There's we lost a couple that didn't come back. We had a couple that graduated, but it's a good solid group. Really, fairly young. There is two seniors, Taylor and Kylie Skadberg, kind of some senior leadership. Hopefully we can keep Taya all in one piece for a whole season. She's
keep those elbows safe. Hey,
keep them in connected. She's been a leader, and so we're hoping that's kind of holds all together. And she put some work in during the off season, and then got a returning state placer and Kendra Garcia that also wrestled at Fargo this summer. Super talented. I don't know.
She was fun.
Yes, she is fun. She's there's a group of juniors that are and Kendra's actually she must be a sophomore. But the other Jasmine Ybarra, who is my granddaughter, she wrestled in Fargo this summer. I don't know. I guess I would have to say that from the time the season ended until the time the season started, I don't think there was 4 weeks that she was out of the wrestling room. And that is not always with a lot of partners, right? A lot of times that is me getting drilled on for an hour at a time. And she's come a long way and just putting a lot of work in, just loves the sport. So I think that's kind of, working its way through that room. There's a lot of girls that really love the sport. Kendall Kovar, Coach Kovar's daughter, is another one that's been a good partner there. And so it'll be a fun group. I don't know that they're going to fill 13 weight classes. And if it'll be close, but there'll be a dual team there. I mean, they're going to be competitive. And
well, I tell you what, it's tough to make that dual tournament. It'll be much tougher this year. All the time. Yeah.
No, it'll be tough. Well, I think what we're going to do is after the duel on Tuesday night with Fargo, we'll be able to see if their numbers are good enough. Then they'll be able to split into 3 teams.
Okay. Yeah.
We're not quite there yet.
Yeah. Yep. That's what he's wanting. No.
But no, there's going to be some good dual teams in the East and also in the West, of course. But we're mostly concerned with the East at this point. And the schedule looks pretty full. Starting at Minot this weekend. I got a duel next week with Fargo and West Fargo. I mean, there's a number of tournaments. The girls are going back to the Rumble. They're going to the Rotary. They will see plenty of good competition. It'll be fun. I'm excited to see the growth that they've made. And
I know that Lisbon's having some girls wrestling this weekend. They've got a tournament for the junior high, and they've got a girls division. So some of those ladies from South Border and Napoleon usually are there, and then Edgley, Ellendale, Culm, I think, has a couple and I'm not sure if anybody's coming up from down south, but I knew they had several last year. So I know and that's part of a JV or junior high tournament that they have there this weekend. No, we'll be going full bore, Bill, before you know it. I mean, I watched the college schedule, so I've been, oh man, I tell you what, I went to the NDSU duel against Nebraska, and I expected a bigger crowd. That's one thing I was actually disappointed in, is that the crowd was not very big. And so I was hoping that things would be bigger and better, but Nebraska's got a pretty nice team. NDSU, man, they're going to have some growing pains. They lost a lot of people, but they've got some talent, and so we'll have to see what happens there. But, man, I was so happy to watch NDSU last year. Everything's kind of turning the corner, and they've got a ways to get back up there. Definitely.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about the 3-point takedown in college? Let's go to that right away. One of the questions. I know that's not necessarily for Brittney, but I bet you Brittney's got an opinion too.
I don't know. It's just not the same. You just hear the crowd yelling too.
Right? Yeah, that's my thing too. Like in the corner, I can't see myself yelling 3.
Yeah. Oh, I could see you would take you very long. Wouldn't take you very long to catch on.
That's supposed to mean.
You'll be yelling just fine. I actually love it. I think it's been fun. I've watched quite a few college matches already, and the one thing that, I think Brittney would probably kind of see the correlation here, is we are way closer to a tech fall now. I mean, we're going to see tech falls not as quick as maybe some freestyle matches, but that window has narrowed quite a bit. I mean, I can't tell you, between the Jamestown Open and, I was at a duel at Northern last Thursday night, the number of matches that I saw get out of hand really fast. I mean, we get a takedown and a 4-point turn, and it goes pretty quick. We're not, unless it was Spencer Lee, you're not seeing a lot of first period tech falls on the college ranks. And I think there were, in the Northern duel, I think there were 3, 2 for sure, maybe 3. And so that's one thing that I actually think is a good thing, right? I mean, I think that those match enders like that, but on the other hand, you can get back into a match a little quicker too.
Conditioning will make a difference early on. I know those 3-minute first periods. I saw some matches where it was 9-2 and it was just 3 takedowns. It was a huge difference in 2 cuts, and then 6-2 or 9-2. To me, as a wrestler, went, oh man, that's just huge difference.
Yeah.
A lot of 6-1 matches. I was at the Jamestown when they had their opening tournament, and that was a really nice tournament. A lot of North Dakota wrestlers and South Dakota wrestlers.
It was a good tournament.
I left right before the semis, and I was kind of disappointed because I went to NDSU duel, but I saw some great wrestling happening there. and some teams were in some pretty good shape. I was amazed. It's early on, and they must be working really hard. Mary has a really nice team again this year. If you guys have a chance to go see them wrestle, Jamestown, they do have a couple more individuals. I think he's still building. He's got a ways to go.
Their 33-pounders tough.
Yeah, especially if they go to D2, all this D2 stuff now happening. That's a next level. It's not easy to get out of this conference in D2, as we've noticed, Bill, the last few years, haven't we?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And Northern's got a nice team. I watched them wrestle quite a few matches. Two brothers, I saw that, the two Larson brothers wrestle each other, and I took a picture of it. I was kind of impressed because actually the younger wrestler was ahead, got a reversal or a takedown.
They're actually twins, so they're
twins. I thought they're years apart.
Not that much. I'm not sure who's older or younger, but
okay.
Twins. Landon and Logan Fisher from Minot.
But they're different grades in college. So
well, who knows what grades anybody are anymore? But they've both been there for about 5 years, I think. But they're twins.
Next time I saw them, I was like, that looks just like Logan Fisher.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. I was like, Tim, does he have a brother? But it was the weirdest.
Yeah, that was a pretty good match.
Well, it came down to the end, and the older one got a reversal with a few seconds left.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I think the mom or one of the Larsons behind, come on, Larsons. she yelled out. Yeah, and they're cheering for them.
Yeah, they're two good kids. And I mean, they've actually wrestled a couple other times in college. And that one was probably the one with the most points scored. I mean, they were letting it fly quite a bit. So, Land is one of my favorite guys to watch wrestle. And it looked to me that day like he was rounding himself into shape and maybe first time down to 25 for the year might have been a little bit tougher, but he was better and better as the day went on and ended up winning the tournament. But I think Northern had five champs there maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So they looked good. It's a solid team.
Definitely.
This weekend on that side, on our South Dakota front, they do have the South Dakota showcase on Friday night. So Northern, Dakota Wesleyan, Augustana, and South Dakota State will all be dueling each other Friday night at Brookings. I don't know why Sioux Falls is not in the mix, but that's this was a thing a while back, and Chris Bono got rid of it after a year or two, but it's
brought it back.
It's back, and so that's kind of it's kind of a fun bunch of duels. It'd be nice if Sioux Falls was in there, but it's a tough night for a lot of guys. I think you're battling in there against South Dakota State, and then if you're Dakota Wesleyan or there will be some interesting matches. I will say though. It'll be curious. There'll be a couple South Dakota State guys that will be going to the All-Star Classic here in a couple weeks, or I don't know if that's next week. I can't remember the exact date.
That's the week after Thanksgiving, I think.
Yeah. So Clay Carlson and Tanner Sloan, I guess, will be going there. So that'll be kind of fun. We're going to be right in the mix of it. We did get to see a little bit of wrestling this weekend at the Luther Open. Jared Franek in his Iowa singlet went down there and
wrestled looked
pretty tough. Coy Grable looked good in the silver division there. So it's fun. It is actually wrestling season. So
there's a duel this weekend on the Big Ten Network. I just put that out. There's one in there on Sunday. I think those are the first ones of the year. I don't know if anyone's got the MMA channel, but I just put a post out there. But they're the MMA Fight channel. They actually have some wrestling on there.
They do. I think they're going to have a handful. I don't remember of duels this year.
They do have a handful of duels that are out there. So if you have a chance, the Big Ten Network is just starting up, and I definitely spend a lot of Sundays watching that. Flow wrestling is a good thing. Those that are out there that don't know that. I spend a lot of time on there once the wrestling season starts. I have done rankings for all the North Dakota things except for the girls. but I have to almost punch myself. I'm really close to having them done, but it's almost impossible because girls either fluctuate a bunch or don't fluctuate at all. And the boys actually change in the preseason quite a bit too. But I don't know the little girls because they don't wrestle enough competition, let's say in the freestyle and stuff in the spring. Right. And so it's hard to do those lower weight classes. And then I like to see when you go on track, you can see the descent plans a little bit, and you can see where people are, you could call it certified at for right now, and then I can adjust the weight classes. But North Dakota's so young, everybody returns. So it's almost like you're just putting out the returning state placers is all you're doing. And that makes it a lot harder. So if anybody's looking for the girls' rankings, I probably should get them done, but I was thinking of waiting a weekend here or so, but I'll get them out there too, so you can see those. Like I said, if you want to catch anything Dakota Grappler-wise, it's almost at an hour. Imagine how quick that was. If you want to catch things, I am trying to put more and more stuff out there. If you're wanting to hear something or articles, I don't have any, how could you say, boys wrestling or doing things right now. I got a lot more time on my hands. I've written about 5-6 articles for Motivation Monday that are coming out over the season and doing more stuff. So if you want to see some more things, I'm willing to write some stuff up if people got some ideas. I will plan on going out to some wrestling tournaments and travel both North and South Dakota. New guests, if you have ideas for guests that you want to see on Dakota Grappler, feel free. If you're a coach out on some team, want to get on and I haven't approached you yet, also get a hold of me. It's at dakotagrappler@gmail.com. You can email me or just make a message anywhere on Facebook on Dakota Grappler. And feel free to do that. Tony, I haven't done this yet, but we have to quickly, for Brittney, I think you've seen these questions before, Tony. So if you want to answer, you can, but we do just a quick fire questions for you, Brittney. Now, some of these are funny. Some of these are good. And some of them are just quick 10-second questions and going to see how you go. So these are called the rapid fire questions. And it's always get your personality and we'll go right there. Okay. So, and did you do these, Tony? I think you did, didn't you? I think maybe some of them.
Way back when
I had a few. Okay, so
he might have changed his answers by now.
Okay, so he can definitely answer these too, but we'll start with Brittney on these first. Okay, here's the first question. Favorite after weigh-in meal?
Definitely going straight for the pickle jar.
Oh, there we go. Tony?
We always did Subway.
Subway. Okay. What is it like to be coached by you if asked by one of your wrestlers? It's a tough one.
I mean, I'm pretty laid back. I'm not going to yell at you. There's no point in doing that if they're not going to listen anyways.
Have you ever lost your voice in a match? Yelling?
Once or twice, but that probably was towards the referee, not my wrestler.
Okay. What's your college wrestling team when you were growing up?
Penn State.
Ooh, Penn State. Tony, what was yours?
That was a little bit of a mix. I mean, it's always Iowa, but then you got heavyweight U in there, being a heavyweight. U of M. U
of M, because they win them, you betcha. Okay, Gatorade or Powerade?
Body Armor.
Body Armor. Okay, what flavor?
I like the light, either the dragon fruit one or the peach mango.
Okay. Tony, what do you
Orange
like?
Gatorade.
Orange Gatorade. Okay. Popsicles or dilly bars?
Popsicles.
Dilly bar.
Yeah. What flavor dilly bar, Tony?
Usually the butterscotch.
Butterscotch. Okay. Now we got this right here, but give me 3 characteristics that all wrestlers need to have.
Couple screws loose.
Yep.
Is that all 3 of them to put in one? What else?
I mean, they got to be fun.
Okay.
Fun personality.
Definitely not afraid to work.
Okay. One more.
Somebody that will just run through a brick wall for you.
Okay, love it. This is a different one. Have you seen a UFO?
Yeah, no.
Usually at a wrestling tournament, you see somebody flying unidentified flying object right there.
I was told I couldn't talk about it.
I forgot all about it. Yeah, exactly. Oh, mama's girl or a rebel?
Man. Probably in the middle.
Okay, a little of both. Tony, definitely mama's boy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Major League Baseball or NFL? You're probably soccer. I don't know if they watch professional soccer. I don't even know what the league would be called.
I mean, I could get down with the NFL. I mean, growing up, we were Pittsburgh Steelers fans. You know, Jerome Bettis. What year was that? That Super Bowl year. It was really good.
My wife would know. She's a Steelers fan.
2004.
Sounds
about right in there somewhere.
And
You
Tony,
had all the good ones.
Yeah, Tony, you're NFL too?
Oh yeah,
definitely. Okay, are you fast-paced or consistently slow?
What do you think?
You're probably fast-paced.
Yep.
And Tony?
I like to consider my options.
Okay. Okay. Which athlete would you rather have? Somebody that's a physical athlete or a mental athlete?
One that thinks too much or one that just works?
Kind of that's, well, mental athlete could be one that really thinks things through, you know, or
sometimes
what?
You just don't need to think about it though.
True. Very true.
I don't know if I could deal with a mental athlete.
Okay. Okay.
You just do it. You just go and you do it.
Okay. I like that.
One of the big things I tell my girls is out physical your opponents. So.
Okay. Very good. Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
It's a heavyweight. It's coming up next week.
Thanksgiving. There we go.
Thanksgiving.
Okay. This is an old question that I've kept in there. Dan Gable or Cale Sanderson?
Oh, man. My boy, Cale.
Okay.
I'm older than you, Brittney. Damn.
Okay. This number will change for several people. Favorite number?
13.
22.
22. Any reason for 22?
I mean, it was my college number.
Okay. Because I always thought it's just two twice. Two.
That too.
Yeah. That was my favorite number forever. Was
take down on a turn.
Yeah. Take down on a turn. You betcha. Best wrestler you ever wrestled?
Christy Davis.
Okay.
Now, what's her name now? Christy. Oh, it's Christy Morano. Now she's Christy Davis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me why she was so tough.
I mean, she's a nine-time world team member.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she has the highest. But I feel like I was young then too. I was probably a freshman or sophomore. I ran into her first match or second match at an open. Boy, it wasn't that bad. I didn't get pinned.
Okay. How about you, Tony?
Are we talking in an actual match or just
you could be drilling. Could be any of that.
Bruce Baumgartner.
Ooh, Bruce Baumgartner. That's awesome. Yeah, I tell you what, I wrestled several different people in my time, and I don't even mention Brock Lesnar is one of the best wrestlers I ever wrestled. And I wrestled with him quite a bit. It was kind of funny. But I would still say maybe Troy Steiner was probably the best. but then I wrestled several different people. He was just technique wise, he was phenomenal at his age. But Terry was very good too, but Troy was more physical in those early days. Okay, another one. Any habit that you learned in wrestling that you still do today?
Not a specific habit, but wrestling just taught me to be relentless. I mean, relentless about my grocery shopping, my house cleaning, not necessarily like, wrestling,
It teaches you other things besides just wrestling stuff. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Just kind of that work ethic and drive.
Mm-hmm. I always mention this for the new people that I still weigh myself every morning. For some reason, I step on the scale and then my weight doesn't change much. It's kind of funny. Just got to check it out.
I do my best to never step on a scale.
Which show could you be on? Storage Wars, Survivor, The Voice, or Jeopardy?
Survivor.
Yeah.
That's most wrestling people surprising. That is the biggest one. I did have one person say The Voice, but they refused to sing. I'd like to hear it. Okay. And this is a question that Bill came up with, or no. Cat, bird, or dog?
Dog.
Bird dog.
Bird dog. There we go. Definitely. Okay. Only a couple questions left. Here we go. This is a big one. Comes up here. Told me to delete it. Okay. Oh, same one came up. There we go. If you could have been a fly on a wall in some other coach's room, whose wrestling room would you like to spy on? Been spied on?
Carrie Colott.
Oh yeah.
Love Carrie.
John Smith.
Okay. I like
two
both
good
of those.
options.
Yes, definitely. Okay. And the last one was, do you have any, coaching philosophy that really pushes your drive that you do today? Any coaching philosophy? It's a tough one.
A big thing for me is not necessarily just teaching the sport as much as it is the lessons that they're going to take later in life.
No, I like that.
Yeah. I was always taught, to always work like I'm working myself out of a job. So from a very young age, I've had jobs mowing neighbor's lawn, or, I knew what that work ethic looked like at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess to kind of help instill that into your athletes, nothing comes easy. If you want the grade, you got to get it. If you want to be the best, you got to be around the best.
I like it because it drives people. If you want to be the best, you better surround yourself with those people. So true. Definitely. Well, I appreciate it. That's actually it for the questions. I have another one, but I'll just skip that one. There's one more on the list. But I tell you what, I love what you guys are doing to the sport. I always consider coaches giving back. As much as, you get paid this small salary, that's not even about that area. It's giving back to the sport that, gave you something. And it gave me a lot. I know that. And Bill, any last words for today?
No, this is great conversation. It's a great way to kick off the season. We're going to see a lot of high school boys, a lot of high school girls wrestling this weekend. The college guys are kind of rounded into shape. So, I look forward to following Brittney's program as it grows through this year and in the future. And I will see Tony too many times in the next few months.
But they'll all be fun.
We're kind of a nemesis here, I'm told, until February, and then after that, we all work for Team North Dakota again. So,
We can
But,
be friends again in March.
That's right. Yeah.
Tony, in the last words?
I'm ready to get going, get out on the mat and start wrestling someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of that whole thing with football too during two-a-days. I'm ready to go hit somebody else. I'm ready to see some different competition instead of the same people every day and really get some of the competitions rolling and see where we can end up.
Well, awesome. I wish you the best of luck, and we'll definitely see you out there, Tony. Brittney, you get the final words. Some last things that are happening with Minot or anything you want to add to the program?
No, just we have a special event coming up in January where we're actually partnering with Minot High and having a side-by-side duel between the men, us, and Minot women's team at the local auditorium here when we're dueling Sioux Falls. So that will be cool to kind of bring in the community and unite the teams together. So that's a good event to watch for.
Okay.
And then roll beefs.
Yeah, definitely. And if you guys want
Absolutely.
to, yep, 2 beavers out there. Yes, I do have a master college tournament schedule. I just put it out in Dakota Grappler. If you go to Dakota Grappler, just scroll down a little bit. There is a master college schedule for all the North Dakota teams, pretty much on there. And anything else you want to catch? If you're going to see if there's one more comment out there or not, I do want to thank you guys again. Thanks for sharing everything, guys. That's what they say. And those people that put some comments on there, I will, if you email me your email address, Mitchell and Gerald, both you guys put some comments in there, and Brett, all you do is email me at dakotagrappler@gmail. Get me your email address, and I will send you guys all out a digital version of the Dakota Grappler. Brittney, I'll get you one too. Tony, I think I got you one. Did I, Tony?
I haven't seen one yet.
I will email you one too. And then I'll make a drawing for you guys, and I'll probably get some T-shirts coming back to my Dakota Grappler T-shirts. I'll get you guys some too. Do appreciate it, guys.
My brother doesn't need anything.
Yeah, but I appreciate it. Again, if you guys need anything at any time, feel free to holler, and we're going to do a lot more shows. Usually Wednesday nights about 8:00. Bill and I try to get on if he's available, and we'll do this throughout the season, and maybe a few other times. All the way through the college season. So we got about, let's say, we got 3-4 months of wrestling content coming. Again, thank you again, guys. Dakota Grappler, we're out. See you guys.